Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Grab your coffees. I know this mug, we're past spooky season, but I don't care. This is one of my favorite mugs. My friend Maria gifted this to me when she went to, at some point she went to Disney and she was able to snag one of these for me. And I treasure it. Nobody in my household is allowed to use this mug. No one, not even guests. Not even Maria herself. Yeah. Anywho, today we're going to be doing a little demo of the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And I hauled this during the Sephora sale through Kohl's. So for a while now, oh, I already got fingerprints on it. For a while now, Sephora, I think it was last year, they ran a sale on this palette. By the way, this is, I love it. So it's really gloomy outside and raining, and so I'm using the lights, a little bit of light from my Ricky mirror just to help offset the gloominess. So it's giving me good, like, natural light effects. So anyways, back to this palette. This went on sale last year at Sephora, and they never restocked this palette. But you know who had it? Kohl's. Kohl's had it. And I was able to snag this baby. I remember I have been just swooning over this palette since it launched, and I never pulled the trigger because, you know, it is pretty loud, and I was just like, I don't even know how I'm gonna make that work for me. Like, where am I gonna wear that to? But now I feel pretty comfortable with Natasha Denona palettes. Is my geisha hairdo distracting you? Because I feel like it's distracting me a little bit, but my hair today, it's in rare form. So we're just gonna work with the psycho chic that this is, you know, the vibe this is bringing on, and we're just gonna roll with it. So I'm gonna go in with my Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This is in 4.5. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply this on my face. So anyways, when I was able to snag this palette from the Kohl's website, I cannot tell you what a pain it was to sign in to your Sephora account through the Kohl's website, because it's not very clear on what you have to do. So for those of you who don't know and you haven't shopped Kohl's, Sephora through Kohl's, if you're online, basically what you have to do is you have to create a Kohl's account before you can have access to sign in to your Sephora account through Kohl's. Really confusing, I know. But that's the way that it is, in case you all were wondering. I almost didn't purchase this palette because I got really frustrated with the whole signing up process. And, you know, it was the last day of the sale, and I wasn't gonna have time to, like, you know, go into the store and see if they had it or whatnot. So, in case you all were wondering, if you're gonna shop using your Sephora account through Kohl's, you gotta create a Kohl's account. Anywho, that's how I was able to snag this palette. 20% off. I'm glad that I did, because now I can just add it to my Natasha Denona collection. Okay, I just used one pump of this all over my face because my skin has been getting a little bit better with that Tower 28 facial spray, SOS facial rescue spray that I hauled during the Sephora sale. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm gonna go in with my Chanel corrector concealer in Pesh. And now I want to talk about my coffee. Let's talk about my coffee for a second. So I don't know if this was just in the area where I live, so leave me a comment down below if you guys ran into this issue this holiday season. But I really enjoy pumpkin spice. Clearly my shirt. I love pumpkin spice coffee. Pumpkin spice coffee is my favorite. I love pumpkin spice desserts. You know, pumpkin spice for life, right? Well, I really enjoy, my husband and I enjoy the Starbucks pumpkin spice coffee. And I usually get mine at Target because Target is the one that usually carries it. I've never actually found pumpkin spice coffee, like coffee grounds, at Starbucks. I've always had to purchase them through Target. So, not sure if that's an exclusive to Target, but it is what it is, right? So, I decided to just pick up 2 bags because, you know, we have a small house and we're limited on space, and I'm not here trying to buy in bulk when we don't have anywhere to put it, right? And, you know, if we run out, we'll just buy more, right? Normal people logic. No, I bought 1 bag of pumpkin spice and I bought 1 bag of the holiday blend, which is my husband's favorite. He likes the pumpkin spice, but his favorite is the holiday blend. So I got 1 and 1 because I was like, whatever, when I run out, I'll just come back for more. Listen, I don't know who was the person who went in and bought in bulk, but Santa Claus is gonna bring you a giant bag of coal for Christmas. Because when we indeed ran out of that coffee, and my husband and I drink coffee every day, we make French press. When we ran, and it wasn't a big bag, it was like the regular size bags. When we ran out of that coffee and I went to place my order on Target for more pumpkin spice coffee, I was hit with the very hard realization that it was sold out everywhere. And then I started to do a little bit of research. Mind you, these are not facts. This is just speculation because I'm a little bit salty, clearly, about it. People are selling the Starbucks pumpkin spice coffee for like $80 the bag. This seems to be a trend for the past 2 years, and it's really starting to get to me. I consider myself a pretty patient person. Not really. But, you know, a lot of things don't get me angry. I mean, after I had a kid, I'm off the wall. But pre-baby, super calm person. But don't mess with my pumpkin spice, man. I wait all year for this time. So I was very upset about it. But I learned my lesson. Next year, I'm gonna buy my 4 bags because I know that that's how much I'll drink throughout that season, because I like for it to last me through Christmas. And I don't want to hear a thing about it. So, this coffee, the reason I tell you this backstory is because I currently made a hazelnut. Oh, this is my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. I'm not even telling you anything that I'm doing. I'm using my Bare Minerals Mineral Veil to set my face. This coffee is a Nespresso hazelnut muffin pod that I made. And during the Amazon sale in October, it was like Black Friday early kind of thing. It was like for 2 days. I was able to snag, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the creamer, from Nut Pods. They make a pumpkin spice creamer. And I decided to give it a try because Casey Ferguson, who I follow on YouTube, super sweet girl. If you guys don't follow her, go ahead and do so. She recommended this creamer because it's a little bit healthier than, you know, other creamers. I don't drink creamers at all because they make me sick. They are just, especially those like Delight, that Delight brand. I noticed about 3 or 4 years ago that the creamer was actually making me sick from my stomach. So I just learned to drink my coffee black with no cream, no sugar. It's healthier. And honestly, it's an acquired taste. And ever since then, like, I've never been able to take sugar in my coffee or creamer in my coffee because they usually are just too sweet. But Nut Pods pumpkin spice creamer, which I snagged during the Amazon sale, came in like this little holiday like sampler pack, and you got eggnog, peppermint stick, and pumpkin spice. Their pumpkin spice creamer is amazing. It's not too sweet, not, you know, I shouldn't have set my face because I had to. This is what happens when I talk about other things other than what I'm doing. It's very hard. I snagged this little set from the Sephora sale that brought the 3 nude sticks blushes, and I already demoed Moody Blue for you guys, but I wanted to do Picante in this video. So we're gonna do Picante, and I'm just gonna pronounce this in the only way I know how, Picante, because I'm Hispanic. It is this bright orangey, mustardy. So it's weird, right? And the bullet, it looks really bright, but then when I swatch it, it doesn't look as bright on the skin. So I'm sure that probably has to do with my skin tone. I hope this doesn't lift what I just said, but okay, we're just gonna have to work with it at this point. So anyway, the Nut Pods creamer is a little bit healthier. It has, you know, I think like about 3 or 4 ingredients, and using a beauty blender to blend this out. I'm just using the side of it that's clean. And I really like it. So I made the hazelnut muffin Nespresso pod, and I put a little bit of that pumpkin spice creamer, and that is what's been getting me through my pumpkin spice fix this season, since I haven't been able to purchase pumpkin spice coffee. And I've tried pumpkin spice coffee from other brands, and Starbucks makes the best one. They really get that flavor just right in their grounds. Dunkin' Donuts has a good one too, but they were also sold out. And so to say that I was upset is an understatement. Okay, so that is very orange, but I'm not mad about it. You know, this is not really a color I would use in the fall. This to me gives me summer vibes, you know. And it also could be that I already set my face, but I don't feel like that should make a difference, you know. And although, just in case you guys were wondering, although I set my face, I'm using my Ricky magnifying mirror, and it didn't lift up my makeup, but it didn't blend as well as I wanted to. It's taking a lot longer to blend. Let me try my fingers. But yes, that's not working. So yes, I was upset. I was upset. So that Nut Pods pumpkin spice creamer it's been getting me through the season, and it doesn't make me sick. It's not too sweet. It's just perfectly balanced. I use very little, and you know, I've been trying to make the best of it, you know. Okay, that didn't even blend at all. That's terrible. I should not have set my face. I'm so sorry, guys. This went south, but we're just gonna have to make it work. Anywho, if you haven't tried the Nut Pods coffee creamer and you still want cream in your coffee, but you don't want all of the nasty chemicals, I would try to look at your, you know, local supermarket for Nut Pods. That's the name of the brand, and they make all kinds of flavors. They make French vanilla, you know, like regular, and during the holidays they have a bunch of different flavors. So I would check them out. So this side blended nicely, but this side is a hot mess, as you can see. But let's just use this side for reference for this video. I like it. I like this orange blush. I don't own anything like this in my collection. I don't have this color blush in my collection, so I'm happy that I was able to get this set, and I'm glad that I was able to get this in a mini size, because I don't use a lot of cream products, so I can't see myself getting through an entire cream blush stick from Nude Sticks. Because since most of my products are powder, I really struggle to incorporate cream into my routine. So I'm glad I was able to get this in a mini, and I do like the tone. I just think that it's more summer than it is fall, if that makes sense. But you guys may not agree with me. Maybe you guys think this looks perfect as a fall tone, but I don't. It's not giving me that vibe. So let's go in with some of that Charlotte Tilbury highlight, and I'm just gonna apply that to my cheekbones. I love this highlight. You really can't mess up with this. It's dummy proof. So I was just shocked she didn't come out with like a holiday version of this, because for the past couple of years she's been coming out with a holiday version of this where it's like a smaller size and it comes with a little brush. I was hoping to see that this year, but I didn't. She also didn't come out with one of her, like, I think it's like a 12 pan palette, I think, this year either. She came out with single shadows, so that was different. I only picked up one of her Eyes to Mesmerize shadows in Sunlit Glow, and that's about it. And I plan to pick up her new little mini brush set for the holidays. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but it's at Nordstrom, and I thought it would come to Sephora, but I don't see it at Sephora, so I'm not sure if it's like a Nordstrom exclusive or something. I'm using the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. Guys, I love this primer. I know that I say this in every video, but for those of you who are new, if you are a fan of the Bare Minerals Gen Nude eyeshadow primers and they have been discontinued or they're out of stock, I don't know, no one knows. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. The Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer, amazing, amazing. All right, I'm gonna be using my Sonia G Sky Set brushes for this, and in my previous video when I used the Zendo palette, I hadn't washed these brushes because I wanted to compare them to the Pro set that I hadn't washed the first time I used them, and then I washed them and I had a different experience with the Pro set. I've washed these, so now let's see how that compares to the Pro set. I know that was long, but for those of you who've been following me, you guys know what I'm talking about. I deliver on my promises. Okay, so So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the soft shader. I'm gonna zoom you in, and I'm gonna start off with the shade Morgan in this palette right here. And I'm gonna use that as my transition shade. I'm using the Sonia G soft shader. And I'm just gonna work that into the crease. Very lightly, very soft. These brushes are very soft. However, they do feel different than synthetic brushes. I am gonna say that. Because this is natural hair. This is a natural hair. Sonia G makes natural hair brushes, and this is my first go at using natural hair brushes. I've only ever used synthetic brushes, you know, Real Techniques, A Cosmetic brushes, Bare Minerals, etc. And I've always been very happy with those brushes. I've had them for years. I've washed them 1,000 times, and they're just going really strong, man. They're going really strong. That's really pretty. Let me just get a little bit more in here. And when I decided to explore the Natasha Denona palettes, she's got some very different formulas, especially in her glittery shades. Next, I'm going to go into the color Citrine. Am I gonna go into Citrine? No, actually, I want to go into this mustard shade, Carnelian. So she's got some special formulas that, you know, you use with your fingers or you can use, you know, with like a brush. And I became very frustrated because when I would dip into those shades with my synthetic brushes, I couldn't pick up any pigmentation. It was the strangest thing, and I didn't want to have to use my finger. I didn't want to be tied down to having to do that, because I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I don't mind using my finger when I'm sitting down and doing these videos with you guys, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm not gonna be sitting there using my fingers to apply my eyeshadow when it's like 5 in the morning and I'm trying to get ready for work, because that's a hot mess. Like I need something that's quick and efficient, and for me, using my brushes is quick and efficient. It's less of washing of the hands. I have more precision getting what I need. I'm now gonna dip into the color Clove, and I'm going to use the mini booster for that. So I just became really frustrated. I'm like this, and I started off with the bronze palette. It was the first palette I picked up from Natasha Denona, and I was just like, this is not gonna work. This was a waste of money, whatnot. So I started to watch tutorials, not that I hadn't before, but I started to pay attention what kind of brushes they were using with these palettes. And most of the people that I watched using this palette, who were doing like wearable looks, not high glam. I did watch videos of high glam, but I wanted to know how to use these palettes every day, like something subtle that I can use for work, because I use everything that I have. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm constantly posting palettes that I've panned, and I love doing that. It brings me a lot of satisfaction because I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And so I realized that a lot of these content creators were using refer brushes and these or Sonia G brushes, and I did a little research. So I was like, I don't even know who refer was. And they are a more affordable brand of natural haired brushes, and they have amazing customer service. Their brushes are designed based on customer feedback. So you take a survey, you become part of their community if you want to, and then you get to shop the concept store where you get brushes that are already, so natural hair brushes that are already kind of affordable. You get them at even a more discounted price. And so I picked up my first set of refer brushes, and that's what it was. When I used my refer brushes to dip into these like special glittery shades, I was getting all the pigment I was expecting to get that I couldn't do with my synthetic brushes. Mind you, synthetic brushes have come a long way since then, because this was like 3 years ago. And I love my Angie Hot and Flashy BK Beauty synthetic brushes, and I love that flat brush that's in that collection that's for glitter. I use that all the time. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with my jumbo blender, and I'm going to dip into, oof, this is tough. Okay, I've always wanted to use, Aster is my favorite shade in this palette, but we're gonna build up, we're gonna build it up. Okay, we're gonna transition into that because I feel like it may be a little bit loud for what I'm going for here. Let me go ahead and grab the classic crease brush, and I'm just gonna blend out the edges here. So that is how I came to use natural hair brushes. Okay, so I'm gonna go into Laurel, which is right here. And I'm gonna use the jumbo blender, and I'm gonna apply this shade on the inner half of the eye. And ever since I started to use natural haired brushes, oh wow, that's soft and beautiful. So I'm just gonna take that across the lid. I didn't know how crazy this was gonna be. So I decided to just, you know, test it, but it's nice and soft, so I'm gonna put that all over the lid. So anyways, that's been my journey. That's how I came to, you know, how I started using natural haired brushes. I had to learn that you don't wash these often. You use microfiber towels to wipe them off because they're natural hair, so you gotta be, you know, much more gentle with them than you do synthetic brushes. But if I'm being 1000% honest, I still think that my synthetic brushes are a lot softer than these natural hair brushes. That's just my personal opinion. You guys don't, I know you guys are not gonna agree with me, but I do think that my synthetic brushes are much softer, but these brushes definitely pick up much more pigment and work extremely well with all formulas of shadow, even creams, depending on whether the bristles are dyed or undyed. But now let's go into Aster. So we're gonna use beautiful purpley sparkly shade, and I'm gonna be using the soft shader. Again, I wiped this on a microfiber towel that I have here, and this is one of those special formulas. So I'm gonna apply this on the outer corner of the eye, When I first saw this palette, my eyes naturally gravitated towards this Aster shade. And I've never found a shade like it. I don't own a shade like this in my collection. And I fell in love. I really, really did. That is beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to the other eye. Now I wanted to talk to you about Netflix shows that I have been watching. So I watched Bridgerton, which I know everybody is obsessed with, or most people are anyway. You know, it's all right. I didn't think it was like amazing, you know. It has a good story and I like it. I like it, but I'm not as obsessed as most people are with the show. I think that season 2 especially was a little bit repetitive. Anywho though, I am waiting for the next season to launch and I will be watching it, so I did like the show. Now I'm gonna go in with Awakening, which is this shade right here. And I'm gonna use that just in this transition, like this area of the eyelid. And I'm gonna use the same brush, just wiping it clean. And that's another thing, like these brushes, you can wipe off the pigment of shadows very easily, which is a big pro. Okay, I'm just gonna apply this right here just to kind of transition that in there. I'm not bringing it in all the way. Oh, that is a beautiful shade. That is stunning. The next show I wanted to talk to you guys about was Sweet Magnolias. I like really easy watch shows. Like, I don't want to be stressed. And you know what show deceived me? Virgin River. I thought Virgin River was gonna be super laid back, but then it wasn't. And I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And then now you're too deep. You're too deep in the show. So there's no going back after that. You're sticking to that show and you're watching it and you're finishing it. Yeah. It was not a pleasant surprise. No. Okay, I'm gonna go into Clove and I'm gonna use this as liner, and I'm using the flat definer to do that. And I'm gonna apply a little bit of Clove to the top lash line. I love the shape of this brush because it really helps me get really, really close and stamp really dark shadow in that area. But Sweet Magnolias was a show that I started watching because the main character I'm a fan of. I like her movies. And I have to say, I like the show. I really do. It is an easy watch, so if you're looking for something that's not really stressful, go for it. I think my only problem with shows right now that I'm a mom is Sweet Magnolia, Bridgerton, all that, you know, all those shows. The episodes are like an hour long, and your girl don't got that kind of time as a mom. I don't. So it becomes challenging because a lot of the times I only watch half an episode and I can't remember where I left off. So I kind of have found myself having to, you know, I've watched it in broken pieces, you know. Okay, now that I'm done with Clove, I'm gonna go into Phlox, which is this deep sparkly red, and I'm gonna layer that on top of Clove just to give it some pizzazz. Well, clearly the sun is out and it's not gloomy anymore. That took a quick turn. You see, Florida. Only in Florida do you wake up to nasty raining weather and then the next minute sunshine and butterflies, as if it never even rained, as if a storm didn't just wash through here. I feel like a lot of people who visit Florida, that's one of the things they're super amazed by. Like in Florida, you need to leave the house with, like in your car, have a jacket and a raincoat, because you just never know. You never know what's gonna happen. Okay, I love what that did. If you guys have been following for a long time, you guys know that I am a huge fan of red eyeliner. And this, I love the tone that this created. I turned on the light so that maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. And then this is without the light. I love this look. This is really, really pretty. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and apply some brow gel, some mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have applied off camera my Benefit Gimme Brow in number 4. This is shade number 4. And I applied some of my Tower 28 mascara, which I have been using, and I have been comparing it to the Cali Ray. And still, I like the Tower 28 better. I like the way that it separates, it lengthens, but at the same time, it makes my lashes look fluttery. As you can see, very feathery. This is a completed look. I used, as my liner, I just used the shadows I showed you in the palette. Which, with the Natasha Denona palettes, that's what I like to do with the very deep shades, is use them as liner. Because a lot of the time, they actually last a lot longer than liner. They won't smudge. So I do prefer to use shadow as liner. And I applied my Merit lipstick in Baby. And Merit's currently having 20% off for Black Friday. And you guys should really check it out, because I really love this lipstick. It's like this pinky lavender. It kind of has like a little purpley undertone. You know what this color reminds me of? Natasha Denona Amorosa. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a comparison swatch. So here we have the Natasha Denona Amorosa lipstick. Comes in this like bright pink packaging. And then we have Merit Baby. Very similar, not the same. I think that Baby has more of a pink, more of a prominent pink undertone than Amorosa. But I really like these Merit lipsticks. This has to be this, their mascara, their complexion stick, their eyebrow gel. I love those products, but I think if I had to choose, my absolute favorite product from them so far is their mascara and their lipsticks. I have been using this lipstick, and so far my bullet has remained intact. Some people had said that they had issues with this bullet where the lipstick would actually break off at the base of the bullet. That hasn't happened to me. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, because I'm gonna be devastated if it does. And that's why during the Sephora sale, that's the reason I only picked up one of these. But I really wanna pick up Slip and 1990. And I think I might purchase it on the Merit website to get 20% off. Anywho, so let's go ahead and talk about first these Sonia G brushes. So after they've been washed, I feel like these performed the same way even before I washed them. So I didn't really notice a difference. If I had to pick between the Sky set, which is this one, and the Pro set, which is the one with the red ferrules, I prefer the Sky set. The shape and the bristles I find to be softer and just easier to use than the Pro set. And I'm not sure why, because these brushes were made for smaller set eyes and people with hooded eyes, and I don't have any of those. I'm like, my eyes are massive, so who knows. The Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. So this is a palette, I love it. I'm just gonna, spoiler alert. I loved it. This is the look that I created. However, this is not a palette I'm gonna be pulling out, you know, springtime. This is gonna be more of summer and fall for me, because of the bright plums and oranges and yellows in here. This gives me summer fall vibes. And I mean, that Aster shade, absolutely amazing. Of course, you guys know that I'll be inserting swatches of this one, you know, throughout the video. But I just love this whole color story. I don't know why this is not a typical palette that I normally gravitate to, because I don't like the color yellow. I just don't. I know, come at me in the comments. I don't like yellow, okay? But the Aster shades, the deep plums, this Awakening shade down here, they're just so unique. They have a shift to them. They're just different and unlike anything that I have in my palette. And I really, really do love this color story. I can't explain why I like it, but I just do. Because I feel like when you look at this palette in the store, you're like, oh, that's fun. But it kind of gets overlooked, I feel, sometimes, because many people work in an office setting and you're kind of just like, how? I would never be able to wear those colors to work. But this look is something that I can easily wear to work and attend Zoom meetings and be perfectly fine. And nobody's gonna say anything. My boss isn't gonna be like, hey, what's going on there? You going to the club, girl? No. So I think it looks good. As far as the blush in Picante, I'm gonna go ahead and say I like the shade. I just think that I may demo this again in another video at some point, because I wanna actually use this properly and have it blend properly. But you guys get the gist of the color on my cheek. I do love the color. I don't, literally the only shade I have that looks like this. So I'm glad that I picked it up. What else? And of course, I just constantly rave about the Rare Beauty and the Tower 28 mascara. I'm just pleasantly surprised. Let's go ahead and add some meteorites as a finishing touch. I'll be using my Real Techniques 227 brush, which is a light layer powder brush. And just buffing that all over my face. I do my makeup every day, sometimes multiple times a day depending on what I'm filming. And a full meteorites tin lasts me an entire year. So I'm a little bit shocked that they did not come out with a holiday version of this. This is last year's holiday version, which is Golden Pearls. And let me show you. It had these like little bronzy pearls on the inside. And I've made good progress. These pearls were like all the way to the top. And I like it. If you haven't tried the meteorites and you want like kind of like an ethereal finishing powder, meteorites. I do only purchase though the holiday ones. So I would wait for the holiday editions because they have like light, medium, deep. I don't know, I feel like they don't really do much for me. I prefer the holiday editions because they seem to have always like a more the color tone is a little bit more bronzy, a little bit deeper and neutral versus white, if that makes sense. Like my skin tone does better with a more neutral bronzy setting powder than something like a lavender powder or that has something like a really white undertone. So that's why I don't purchase like the regular colors. I prefer to wait for the holiday editions because they tend to be a little bit more neutral in undertone. But they didn't come out with one this year, so I'm kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? But I'm okay. I feel like at the rate I'm going, this is gonna last me another year. I mean, I use it every day and I love the way they smell. If you don't like fragrance, don't even dare pick one of these up because they have a very distinct fragrance, an unforgettable one, a one that when you walk into the room and you smell it, you're like, oh, that's Guerlain. All right, that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to my salty issues that I've been dealing with this fall season. I appreciate your time, and let me know what you think about the Sunrise palette. Do you own it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Did you like this look? My skin seems to be a little bit dry today because I've been using this corrector for about a month now and it's been fine, but today I'm finding like patchiness and like, so I have like dry patches under my eyes, and I've been wearing eye cream, so I'm confused. It must be the winter season in Florida, which is not really winter. Anywho, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and see you next time.